Welcome back to the Art of MMA podcast on the Kick and Post YouTube channel and all streaming platforms. Still need to get that right. My name is Amal Thompson. I am with.
You were with Roger.
We're still figuring out what's going on with the internet in Roger
Yeah,
land, but he's here mobily again.
it's a problem. It's a problem I apologize
But
for.
we survive, man. We make it happen.
That's right.
We make it happen. Um, UFC 329. I think it delivered how we expected it to a certain extent. Um, Way more competitive fights. The lines were a lot closer in this one, from a betting standpoint, as opposed to the Freedom 250 card.
Mhm.
And that showed, in my opinion, in a lot of those fights. If you're tuning into Verdict MMA, I don't know if Roger's picking his fights on there yet, but I'm picking mine on there. Out of 14 fights, I did not submit one of them in time, but you did hear me on the pod say Costa will beat Durden. I think I also have a clip about it as
Mhm.
well. But out of the 14 fights, I went 11 for 14.
Nice. Very
That's not bad,
nice.
and that's with some underdogs in there. And then if we want to go a little bit deeper than that, for about 7 of those 11, I had method and round of victory right as well.
How many? 7?
No one to I think about 7 of them I had round and method of victory correct.
Very nice.
Um, Not tooting my own horn, but toot toot. Um, I want to open up with the prelims. Obviously, something crazy happened in the main event, but I do want to go bottom to top. We opened up the show with Durden versus Alessandro Costa, and as expected, it was as close to one-way traffic as you could get. Costa was too much. Durden on short notice looked like he was on short notice, but I still don't think with the full fight camp we would have gotten a very competitive fight.
Right.
Um, I want to give a shout out to a friend of the pod. I don't know if he watches consistently or tunes into the clips, but a friend of mine had, I think, a 10 leg parlay, $250 to win $1 million. Now,
Oh,
$250 million on a parlay is already ridiculous,
yeah.
but he could afford it. $250 to win $1 million. He went 9 for 10. Do you know what his 10th leg that missed was?
It was the Durden fight, I assume.
Yes. So it busted on the first fight. It busted on the first fight, but guess what he had as the win?
Durden by decision?
He had Costa by round 2 KO. Costa
Oh.
won in round 2. He did drop Durden, but he got on top of it and subbed him.
Oh my
This
gosh.
person also put Paddy round 1 submission in that parlay. So
Wha
250 to win $1 million, and he was literally an early stoppage away from $1 million potentially.
Wow.
Sick to his stomach. Sick to
I
his
bet he
stomach.
was.
Again, he does okay for himself. You could put 250 on a parlay, but that kind of win would have been insane. Hard Rock would have
Yeah.
probably sent the hitman out for him. um,
Yeah, I don't throw money
but
like that. Mm.
nah. But still, it's fun to see all those greens, and I mean,
Mhm.
sucks to see
Yeah.
the red, especially when you knew it was ending in round 2 and you just had the method wrong. But
Oh.
Costa does what he does very well, applies the pressure, did damage, and then got on top and used the ground game. And that was
Mhm.
all she wrote. I really don't have many other notes. Durden's on his way out. During the fight, they were already talking about Durden starting his own gym. That's never a sign of a
Oh,
guy
okay.
looking to fight
Yeah.
for a title
Yeah.
anytime soon. I think he knows the writing's on the wall and he's on his way
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
And Costa's ascending. I think there's some good fights for Costa in the division. I think we could start looking for potential matchups closer to the ranked, not necessarily ranked yet, but closer to the aim of the ranked fighters. How do you feel about Costa the flyweight getting that win?
I didn't actually get to see the fight on that one. I saw most of the fights
Mm-hmm.
on this one, but this one and there were a couple other ones that I didn't get to. But I like Costa on the way up. I think he's in a tough division, but I like him on the way up. I
Some killers in there.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't give him top 15 yet, but I'd give him somebody, on the way there. See where he's at.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yep.
I think there's potential for I haven't written down necessarily who I'm going to necessarily try to pin him against yet, but um the jumping competition has to come because he
Yeah.
is making light work of the people they're putting him against.
Mhm.
And again, this was short notice, so we should take that
Yeah.
into account as well. Um Ryan Gondra, Zachary Reese. Now we make this conversation, I feel like, a lot with fighters where a guy looks good until he doesn't.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put myself out there a little bit. I took Gondra round one finish.
Mhm.
Um, and I was scared for the first 15 seconds of the fight because
Yeah.
Zachary Reese looked good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zachary Reese was, you know, controlling distance very well. He was
Mhm.
keeping his chin down. It looked like he had figured out how to use his athletic advantages. You know, he was
Mhm.
quicker than Gondra. He seemed to be staying out of the way. And then that hook hit.
Yeah.
And that was all she wrote. Gondra power landed. I won't even say it was bad defense necessarily. Reese was kind of stationary in that moment, but you're not
Right.
gonna always be moving. So I can't like completely blame him for taking that shot. Um, but one solid land and got on top and did the ground and pound thing for a little bit, and it was called early round one knockout for Gondra,
Yeah.
and you look to improve his potential fights going forward too in that middleweight division, where he is a
Mhm.
massive middleweight. Uh,
Yeah, he's a big middleweight.
even though Reese is a tall middleweight, but
Yeah.
Gondry carries a little
No.
bit more weight on fight night, and power clearly.
Yeah.
First round finish, and we move. How do you feel about that fight?
Gandra's growing on me, I gotta say. Um, Watched him in the, Contender Series fight, and, he got the knockout, but he looked a little wild in there, as sometimes they do on the
Hmm.
Contender Series, but, I didn't think he was gonna fare so well when he got in there against stiffer competition, but he's done great so far. And Zachary Reese is no joke. He's not top of the division, but he's solid. So to do that with him, some accurate punches in there. He's plenty athletic. He doesn't look it. Well, some of his punches were accurate. Towards the end,
I
that
was about to
finish
say
the scene was pretty accurate
we're yeah. I'm
for
saying we're
Gondris.
throwing around solid a little bit lightly for
I
Reese.
mean, I
Like
think he's
he has the measurables, he looks the part. The fight IQ was a little bit questionable the last few fights.
oh for
Um
Zachary Reese.
and I don't think he did anything yeah, I don't think he did anything wrong in this one necessarily. But to
Yeah.
say like solid competition, I think
Well, I
we're
think
giving
he's
them a little bit too much credit,
no. I mean, I do think he's solid competition. He's not top tier
I
or
guess.
anything, but I think he's solid. He's not a
Yeah.
beginner in there. He's not. It's not his first rodeo in there. He's had some wins, and he's had some losses. Um, Definitely doesn't have the highest fight IQ from what I've seen. But Gondra's still pretty impressive in that. We'll see where he goes from here, how he does against even better competition, because they should put him against even better competition, and they will until he loses one or wins the title. So, um, but I think
Yeah.
we give him somebody a step up um, from Zachary Reese and see how he does.
Uh, Italian brother with the strong chin is escaping my memories right now.
Vittori?
Give us
Yeah, Marvin
Vittori.
Vittori.
Give
That'd
us
be a good one.
Vittori. Give us Marvin Vittori versus Gondra. Um, just to see what we're looking at here, you know. Um, I still think Adesanya's name's still a little bit too strong. I think there's
Hmm.
a couple opponents there for Adesanya. Um, but one more loss, and Adesanya would be the one that I would point out for Gondra next.
Really?
Um,
That
but yeah, I'm gonna
soon?
go Vittori. Yeah,
I could see
yeah.
Vittori.
I mean,
Yeah,
squeeze the orange. You know, what I mean,
yeah.
get as much juice as you can, because I think Adesanya's on his way out, and I
Hmm.
think money fights are there for him on the other side. I could see him on a Netflix MVP card. Um, I could see him doing the Anderson Silva thing maybe a little bit earlier in his career than Anderson Silva did, and go boxing. Right. So while you're in the UFC, use the name, use the legend. I mean,
Yeah.
he just changed gyms over.
Yeah.
He seems like he's trying to refocus. I still
You can
think if you had these fights go a round and a half, he wins the last four fights.
yeah.
Um, it's just that fights are not a round and a half,
Right.
and he can't seem to make it past that. And look like the Izzy of old. Um, and unfortunately, he's in a weird spot. He's not like a our boy Robert Whitaker, who we'll speak about later,
Mhm.
who could thrive at a heavier weight class because speed wise and skill wise, he's above the rest. It just allows him to cut less weight. Izzy walking around naturally as a middleweight, so
Yeah.
like it's tough, man. It's tough to see
Mhm.
where he's at, but um, yeah, Gandre gets the finish, and unless you have anything to add, I'm excited to talk about this
Nah,
next
he
one.
looked good out there. He looked good.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
I think you give him a step up and see how it goes. Maybe a step up in the next 2 fights if he wins his next one good, and then you start putting him against some contenders.
Yeah, yeah. I could co-sign that. Um, a guy who looked amazing, which I was a little bit skeptical. I don't want to come back and reassess. The UFC website needs to do a little bit of tweaking because to have a replacement fighter in for days and still not update your odds is egregious. But the Basharat line was, I think, minus 650.
Yeah,
I think you could get Garza at plus 350 before the fight. Um, Garza looked great, I think,
yeah.
for 5 days notice against somebody of Basharat's caliber. I will preface Basharat came out and said he was fighting on a torn MCL, an injured ligament. So movement wise, he might have been a little bit out of sorts, but um, he wrestled well. I think he controlled the exchanges when it needed to be. He couldn't really get much of his stuff off offensively on the feet because anytime he hit Garza, I feel like Garza was there with power shots. I don't think Garza respected his power at all in there.
Mhm.
And, you know, barring a couple takedowns, this could have been a different decision. Um, I'm impressed. I think we'll see Garza be a factor. I don't know if he goes back to the contender series invite like he was slated to do, or if they just give him a contract off of that
Yeah,
performance. If
I think they give.
I'm if I'm Dana, I give him a contract off that performance. He was quickly becoming a crowd favorite. And you
Yeah.
gave him again an undefeated guy, super skilled, uh, and he gave you a good fight. Went straight
Mhm.
to decision. I have no notes. I think Garza's great. I think Fareed deserves to still be in the UFC. I don't think they should do him like they did his brother, and cut him off of a win. Uh, but if he is dealing with that MCL injury, I think he should try to heal up before he goes for his next fight. Because unfortunately for him, this was a lose lose for him.
Yeah,
Like winning the fight's cool, but it was on 5 days' notice against a guy who's not supposed to be in the UFC.
yeah.
And you went to decision. You didn't have
Mhm.
enough on the ground to submit him. You didn't have enough in your hands to put him out.
Yeah,
So you're not fighting necessarily up from this one. If anything, they rebook Ethan Ewing for you. So like at this point, just get healthy. Um, and for
yeah.
Garza, you were in a win-win situation. The
Mhm.
only way this went terribly for you is if you got knocked out in the first 15 seconds and you didn't.
Right.
So um, great fight, great results all around. Excited for what both fighters will do coming out of this. What is your take on this Basharat Garza fight?
My take is that Garza, crowd pleaser. Garza is an exciting
Yeah.
fighter to watch. He's a hard puncher. I liked him going to the body. I think that's something we don't see enough of, and
Mm-hmm.
he was throwing it out there pretty well. I think he had there was one part where I texted you where I was like, Garza's about to win this fight. So Basharat
Mm-hmm.
stayed in it and he didn't. But I think at that moment, um, at the end of the first round, I think Garza realized that he can compete with this guy. And you started seeing a little bit more of his personality, of his fight style. I think when he went in there, he was pretty nervous. Um, Basharat took advantage of that and took round one very easily. But I think had he realized it sooner, then you're looking at a much closer fight. coming down the stretch. But I think he realized it. I think he hurt Basharat towards the end of the first round and at least put a few punches on him and realized that he can survive and compete with people at this level. And I think that that confidence is only going to grow. Um, Basharat, I don't know that they give him another contract. I don't know that they get rid of him, but he's not very exciting to watch. I
We've seen
don't
guys
think it.
cut for less.
I don't
Like,
think at this point that he can compete with the top guys. Even he's undefeated, and it's hard to say that about an undefeated fighter. He just winning a decision against somebody who was supposed to fight in a lower division, like at the end of the week or into the month. Like Garza was preparing for a fight, but it wasn't for a top 15 UFC fighter. And so if
mm-mm.
Basharat's going to decision with this guy, like what makes anybody think he can be a contender? So maybe he's got a
So I'm gonna
meniscus.
run back my quote from the last one. He's undefeated. Squeeze that orange. Like, get what you could get out of the promotion of him being undefeated and being top 15 and give him to somebody dangerous. We already knew what the plan was. Me and you see what Ethan Ewing are. Ethan Ewing
Mhm.
is as a fighter. He's
Yeah,
Mr. Take Your Zero. The plan was for him to take the zero.
yeah.
100%.
But
Him
okay, but
being injured puts him back. You
do
run
you?
that fight back at least so he could take another zero.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go, okay, where do we move? Who's the next person we're excited for? I have to take a peek to see which division they're in. But you start, okay, so they're bantamweight. I'm sure you could find a
Mm-hmm.
young bantamweight that you're excited about to put in that range. Am I mistaken in thinking Kevin Vallejos is a bantamweight?
I
I think
think
he's
he's a
past a
featherweight, isn't he?
Basharat fight. Yeah, he knocked out Emmett. I don't
Yeah, he's a
remember
featherweight.
which weight Emmett
Um,
fought. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
But okay, negate that. But there's other guys you could try to like either build or bring back
Yeah.
to, you know, the view of a I don't want to say like a casual consumer, but a
Mm-hmm.
casual consumer. You're gonna see a guy who's probably like 14-5 going against a Basharat who's like 15-1, and you're gonna get really excited about one, either betting the Basharat side because the lines are gonna be close, or Basharat might even be an underdog, and
Right.
two, the other guy could recover his image a little bit off of the great ranking, well, the great record that Basharat's carrying around. Squeeze
Yeah,
the
but
orange dry until
do you?
you
He's
shift him
at
out.
the end of his contract. He's not looking
Yeah,
like a particularly high competitor. Do you sign him to another contract just to make sure somebody else takes his O? I'm not sure you
yeah.
do that. But you think so?
He's unproblematic. He's unproblematic for the most part. Um, he doesn't really sell a fight, so that's a little bit disappointing.
Mm-mm. Yeah.
But he's willing to stand in there and strike. And if you get him against somebody with solid enough takedown defense, they're gonna rinse him. So
Yeah.
like, I, it sounds very terrible, and I'm not trying to be a Basharat hater, but he's like the perfect sacrificial lamb with that zero. Now, once he
Yeah.
loses that zero,
Well,
things
that's
get a
what I'm
little bit
saying. Like,
dicey.
if you put him against Ethan Ewing and Ethan
But he still
Ewing
has it,
runs it, um, then he's not going to have it
which
after
I'd
his
pick
first
Ethan Ewing
fight
to
back.
finish him.
So,
Yeah,
I mean, if he doesn't have it after his first
but
fight
then
back, what's
who
the
do you
appeal of
shift
him then?
to? Who, who do you shift to? Right? Wellmaker switch gyms. Wellmaker's supposed to be being, a little bit more diverse in his skill set. You bring back a Wellmaker against a Basharat, and maybe Wellmaker's able to stuff a couple of takedowns and land that hook again. Now Wellmaker's back in your money pool, right? Like you could do
Okay.
that with a couple
All right.
fighters in that weight class
You, so you could
and
do
just
that a few
keep using
times.
Basharat as the bait. Yeah, you keep putting him
Interesting.
out there, and right now, based on what I've seen, I'd pick Basharat to beat Wellmaker. I want to make that clear, skill set for
Yeah.
skill set. But if you
No,
believe
he's
Wellmaker is gonna like make some ascension and be able to do a little bit of wrestling defense, I still think power wise in the pocket, Wellmaker could get him out of there.
yeah.
So I'm willing
He's
to
a
risk that. You at least get to see who, you know what I mean?
he's a skilled fighter. He's just not exciting to
Yeah.
watch. And to be honest with you, he hasn't really shown the skill that he's going to put guys away and win big fights. Um,
Yeah,
but I see your point. Even after somebody takes that, oh, you've still got, you know, 1, 2 losses, 3 losses. He's still somebody you can make a name off of. And hey, maybe he stays undefeated and becomes one of those top tier guys and proves everybody wrong. Um, but
you're telling me
I,
Leon Edwards was getting signed to contracts off the back of his exciting fighting?
I mean, right. But I don't know,
Bilal
man. I just
Muhammad, you think he was staying around because of that? Like,
yeah, but Bilal
I
could
think
dominate
they
some people. I don't know that.
wrestling wise, but we've seen what.
Yeah,
No offense to Bilal, but like you see what happens when he goes against like people who are quite
yeah,
more advanced athletically than he is, right? Or like Leon Edwards, he had a run, but if you look at what's happened at the back end of this run, it's pretty much the same thing. Like he stumbled into a belt, not stumbled, had a magnificent moment into a belt, and now
yeah,
he's literally just a let's keep putting him out there against the new guys. You could run this method before a guy gets a belt. You just don't get the same level of a name to build off of it. You know what I mean? Like Edwards is helping build the hype for potential superstars.
yeah. But
Basharat's
he,
just building the hype for up and comers.
yeah. But I mean, they're two different levels, and I don't know that you re-sign a guy like
Yeah, for
that
sure.
down at that level if you don't have the confidence they're going to win. I mean, he does still have that O beside his name, so I can see him doing it.
I
I
mean,
just,
here's the flip. You could play the long game and have him go to a lesser promotion technically and go be a
mhm,
champion of like PFL or Bellator and then bring him back and then offer
yeah,
him up to like one of your cash cows to slaughter. Like,
well,
I mean,
and
that's what they've been doing with the Bellator guys. Like,
mhm, yeah, yeah, they
I don't
like to
know.
do that.
Either way, I see I could see him serve a purpose for the UFC, and
Yeah,
unfortunately, it's not for him to be a champion.
no.
And maybe I come back and eat these words at the end of the year, but I think I'm pretty safe in my assessment.
On the other hand, I think Garza at such a young
Mhm.
age, if he grows, he's got potential.
23.
He's 20. Yeah, he's 23.
23.
You know, this could go
Gosh.
one of two ways. He can let this
His
go to his
insurance is still
head.
expensive.
Yeah, he can let this go to his head and think he's already there and not work on his skills, or he
Mhm.
can work on his skills. Um, he's got some. He's got great punching. As far as his MMA boxing goes, it's pretty good. He's got good power. He's athletic, really athletic. Like if he can chisel himself into a good fighter and keep making progress, I think you see John Garza near the top. I don't know what his attitude is. If he thinks,
Yeah.
"Oh, I made it to the UFC, I put on a good show, they want to sign me," and he stops working at the gym so much. Uh, at this level, I don't think that'll happen. But he's young and crazy things happen, so he's got potential. I'm really excited to see where he goes. I'll watch his next fight. Basharat,
And
maybe not.
here's the flip side of that coin. Here's the flip side of that coin. I'm so down on Basharat that I can't overhype the Garza performance if I believe
No, yeah,
Basharat's like a ranked fighter who does everything at a median level, but
hmm
has stumbled into some win. Not stumbled. That's a terrible word to say when people are fighting in the octagon. Has
yeah,
gotten some grinded out some wins, um, but there's a cap on where he could
hmm
go. If I believe that, yes, Garza showed a lot in 5 days, um, but I can't just pencil him in as the next big thing either. I do need
yeah,
to see more. I think it would be good for him to go to the contender series still, but after doing what he did for the UFC, maybe a 3 fight contract, and then see if you could find some good matchups for him.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I'm okay with that personally.
Not
I'm
mad
not
at that.
upset at that. Um, no. Which leads me into the next fight: Damian Pinas versus Cesar Almeida. Um, on the build up of this one, I kept hearing comparisons to Atiba Gautier, which I didn't think were very warranted. I thought Pinas was a little bit more active in finding his shot
Yeah,
before this fight. This was a very Atiba style performance though. Weight, timing, trying to find his spot, allowed Cesar
Hmm.
Almeida to find some level of comfort in there, become a little bit too comfortable being in front of him. Um, I had Peanuts by round one. I started sweating a little bit.
Yeah.
And then the thing that happens when a guy has power like Peanuts has power, he
Yep.
landed. And we
Yep.
talk about young guys in the game. Peanuts is 24. There is a crazy level of ascension left for a guy like that,
Yeah.
um, with hands like that,
Hmm.
and in a middleweight division that I don't want to call wide open, right? But the boogeyman's gone for the most part. Sean Strickland's an interesting belt holder, but
Yeah.
like we're not gonna make it seem like we expect Sean Strickland to go on like a 3-year run of defending this belt over and over and over again.
Right.
You know, there's interest, there's intrigue, there's fights you could make for
Hmm.
Pinas.
Yeah.
Um,
Plenty.
and I'm excited to see where it goes. I don't really have any notes for Cesar Almeida. It's kind of what I expected. Uh, I just think he lasted longer than I thought he would.
Yeah.
I think he did stay active. I think he did, try to control the pace of the fight. He just allowed his timing to be figured out, and that's all she wrote. The one
Well,
hitter quitter, man. Like when you have power like that,
yeah.
you could be patient and pick your shot, and that's what Pinas did. So, great
Yeah.
win for
He's a good
Pinas.
striker, Cesar Almeida is. But um,
Mm-hmm.
what do they call him? Baba Yaga? I love that
Yeah, Baba
nickname.
Yaga,
I love that
sick
nickname.
nickname.
I don't know what it
That's John
means.
Wick's nickname too.
I love it.
It's John Wick. It's John Wick's nickname, and it's Boogeyman in some language.
Oh, okay. Well, he's got it
Yeah,
with that with those rocks in his hands like that. Um, I saw his last fight, thought it was a little on the boring side. Um, this one not so much. He's fighting
I
a
mean he got Schultz out
skilled.
of there.
Yeah, he did. He did. But it was still a
Yeah, it
little.
wasn't like as impressive as we expected, but yeah,
Yeah, but I mean it was still good. But this one without Almeida, he's a good striker, and to see him go into a fight with a good striker like this and do that to him, that makes me really high
mm-hmm.
on him. I think the only thing that I really want to see is a good grappler in there with him. I know Schultz was supposed to be a good grappler, but he didn't show it. So I'd like to see him against a good grappler and see what that side is. But I'll tell you, the strikers right now are sometimes overpowering those grapplers. As long as they've got that defense and they can stay up, they're winning fights.
Did you hear
So
who he called out?
I did not hear who he called out.
By Sanger Sirsaikayev.
I'd watch that
By
fight.
Sanger Sirsaikayev. I love that. I love
I
that
would
call
watch
out.
that fight. That's another young
I
guy.
I
What's
love
one,
that call
24
out.
and one's
Yeah.
22?
Yeah, I think by Sanger is playing a dangerous game with how lackadaisical he's been approaching
Hmm.
fighters in there, and I think a guy like Baba Yaga, because I was already like penciling in like an Atiba versus
Hmm.
by Sanger or some version like that,
Yeah.
and I guess you
Yeah, we
could give
talked
me
about that, I
Pinas
think.
versus by Sanger. Yeah, we did. I'll take a Pinas versus by Sanger in a
Yeah.
heartbeat. And you have to be on your P's and Q's because by
Have
Sanger
to.
takes damage. Like
Yeah.
he will allow somebody to hit him.
Hmm.
I don't think you do that with Damian Pinas, right?
No.
So I would be on board. I don't think they're wanting to do that necessarily yet. That definitely will taint the pool of young talent that's entering the middleweight division. We probably have to wait 2 fights to see those two against each other. I think they're going to protect each guy from each other, so to speak. Um, don't be surprised if you find an Atiba, Bisanger, Pinas, uh, Gandra 11 through 15 at some point. Maybe not this year, maybe at
How
the
old is
beginning of next
Gandra? Do you
year.
know?
But all those guys, I think he's in his 30s, like 32 or
Oh,
31.
okay. So he is older.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, double checking right now before we move on to the other fight. Yeah, he's 31. Recently turned 31. So, um, not
Mm.
saying that his clock is ticking because these guys can fight till 36, 37,
Yeah.
um, even later sometimes. But the other guys are getting such a head start. Like,
Yeah.
can you imagine, you know, a polished Damian Pinas at 32
Yeah.
after being in the UFC since probably 24. Like, these guys
Yeah.
are either trying to get in and get out quick, or they're going to just have years to amass a lot of knowledge
Yeah.
and then be dangerous in their like real primes, So
Eventually, you're going to see people 28 being called old in this, um,
yeah, yeah.
because even you could tell the difference in the Basharat Garza, and that's
Yeah.
not even a huge age difference, but um,
No.
Garza was so much more athletic, and I don't think Basharat could do the things that Garza could do. Some of those roles he did were, Basharat's not doing that. So yeah, young guys. Pinas is on his way up. I'd like the Bisanger fight, especially if he called him out. I don't think you wait on that. I think that's when you go ahead and book and you get an exciting fight that's going to build a little bit on both of them. So um, you put
I mean, who
them
am I
in.
kidding? You could definitely just go back and rematch it whenever they lose. Like, whoever loses, 5 years
Yeah,
from now, they can rematch it. Like, yeah,
I mean, you look in Conor and
they're that young in the
Holloway
game.
fought. When it was it Holloway's first fight in the UFC, second fight, something like real early in
I think
Holloway's career.
second, or he had lost. I think he lost two. He either lost one or lost two, and then went into that fight.
Um,
Because he was
but
pretty
he's
much fighting
super
for his
young.
contract. The fight after that, yeah,
Yeah,
13 years ago.
super young.
Yeah,
Dustin Poirier fought McGregor when they were young. Um, so some of these guys can, go ahead and get them fighting early. I think it'll be good for them. I know
yeah,
why the wisdom in holding them out, but it would be good for them.
I agree. I agree. I think it would be good for him for sure. Um, I enjoyed those finishes, and I will be a little bit transparent. I picked those two off of what I thought would happen.
Hmm.
I picked this next one, at least from a Hard Rock perspective, on what I wanted to happen for her ascension. On Verdict MMA, I did take this fighter to win by decision because I've watched her fight enough times. I just
Yeah.
had a little inkling in the back of my head that she understood she needed to finish to start really asserting herself in a title picture type of way.
Hmm.
And she disappointed me. It was a great performance by her standards. It was a great performance from a dominance perspective, but it's the same
Hmm.
thing. I feel like I've dogged a lot of male fighters for the same reason,
Yeah.
and I can't just like not bring it up when she does it. Wang Kong versus Tracy Cortez. I believed the advantage was going to be on the feet for Wang Kong since the
Hmm.
fight was announced. If you could have gotten Wang Kong at significant plus money, congratulations to you. Um, I figured she'd be too much on the feet, and her wrestling defense would be enough for Tracy Cortez, who is not the strongest wrestler.
Right.
She is a decent wrestler, but when faced with someone who could put power shots down the pipe accurate, keep her at bay,
Hmm.
it's going to be a long night for Tracy Cortez. And it was.
Yeah.
Now, where Wang Kong frustrated me is she had Cortez hurt numerous times in this fight
Hmm.
and did not put her foot on the pedal.
Right.
And I think she realized pretty early that Cortez is going to struggle to take her down. When Cortez
Hmm.
was not as damaged, Cortez struggled to get a solid takedown. So when you put some of these power shots on her and she's not necessarily wobbling, but stumbling back, there needs to be a killer instinct because
Yeah.
fighting is about winning, yes. But when you're pushing yourself towards a potential title fight, I think what they did on the broadcast, which I'm not usually a broadcast listener, but they said something I thought was really profound.
Yeah.
The reason Pereira got to where he got to is
Hmm.
not off the
Yeah. I
back of
remember that.
just fighting Izzy, right? He came in and he had magnificent performances. He
Yeah.
forced them to talk about him. He forced Izzy to answer some questions, and it got him into that Izzy fight way quicker
Yeah.
than it should have. He jumped the line. He skipped the line, right?
Hmm.
Pretty far.
Yeah.
Wang Kong has that story with Valentina.
Yeah.
Wang Kong beat Valentina in kickboxing. I think they said a fight before Valentina moved to the UFC.
Yeah.
So
It might have been
like
her last fight
the
before the
storyline is
UFC.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. right? So the storyline is there. It writes itself. You just need to do your part. And in a division full of fighters that cannot compete with you
Yeah.
from a striking perspective for the most part, you need to take advantage of that, right? I go back to the fight before the Tracy Cortez fight, where I'm watching you attempt the worst rear naked choke or whatever you were trying to attempt I've ever seen in my
Yeah.
life, right? And you had that person hurt.
Yeah.
Take a few risks. You are the dominant fighter on the feet. Get them
Hmm.
out of there so that we could see you ascend to where you should be potentially in a division where there is a lack of like star power, at least for now.
Yeah.
Or not star power backed in much exciting fight style to the casual fan. Right? So she's getting her wins. It's
Yeah.
great for her. Good decision win. I was just left wanting more when I saw how the performance looked because I think we could have gotten a finish, and not just because I went on Hard Rock and decided to combine it with Damian Pines round one and Ganja round one, but because like that's what she needs
Yeah.
to start being in these elite level fights. You
Yeah.
know, she's not a young fighter.
No.
There's a gap. There's a window for you to make a ton of money,
Yeah.
right? Like you need to get up there. You need to get up there. You need to do it quickly. And I don't think she's fighting with that level of urgency. Um, I'm off my soapbox. What says you about this fight?
Uh, I mean, solid fight against a solid contender. Tracy Cortez is not type of the top of the division, but this puts her what, number 8, I think. I think it takes
Yeah,
Tracy from number 8.
hmm
She was number
she'll take
12.
the
Now
8.
she's 8, so that leaves her up there. She called out Valentina. I think she knows she has the urgency. I think there's a difference between her and Pereira where it's not fair to um, compare the two, and
Compare them,
that yeah,
and why is that?
Pereira has that knockout power. Um, I don't think the Joker has that same
Are we
knockout
arguing
power.
that Wang Kong doesn't?
Yeah, yeah, I don't think she has
Well,
the
it's
same
typically
knockout
not
power.
something you see in women fighting anyway. It's not like
It's
I'm
not
expecting her to
something
go
you
in there
see
and
as
like one
much.
punch hitter quitter
Yeah,
anybody.
so she dominated. She
But
shows
when
she
you see
can.
somebody wounded, Roger,
I totally get it. I don't think she felt threatened. I think she thought I'm going to play with my food for 3 rounds and everybody's going to see how great I am. And then I'm going to call out Valentina and talk about my win against her. And maybe I'm next up for a title. Um, I don't think that she
you
is. I
know
think
who's
they were
next up for a
wrong.
title shot? Who everybody wrote off for dead?
Who's that?
Alexa Grasso. You know why she's
Yeah.
up?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Alexa Grasso over the Joker right now. Yeah. And she's beaten Valentina.
And it's not
So,
because of level of competition.
but yeah, that's true.
Macy Barber's not
Um,
better than Tracy Cortez, technically.
no, but that finish was, you're right. That finish was killer.
That
Um,
finish was
that
probably the
finish
finish of the
was
year still.
killer. Yeah, it probably, men or women. That was just finish of the
Yeah.
year, I think. Um, but I think that she knows her window is closed, and that's why she called out Valentina now, because she knows she's got a limited time to get it. Here's the difference, though. Adesanya, not a grappler. You can be Pereira, knock out some people, call out Adesanya, and now you're in a kickboxing match where you win. The Joker is going to go against Valentina, who she might be able to beat in kickboxing. She's not going to be able to stop the takedown. Valentina is more complete than Adesanya was. And so to compare those two, um, I don't think is quite fair because Pereira didn't have to go against big time grapplers to get there. Um, whereas the Joker is going to have
We calling
her.
Tracy Cortez a big time grappler?
No, but that's kind of, I guess my point is, once she gets there, which I think she will, with one more win or so, she's going to have to deal with Valentina, and Valentina is a big time grappler. Valentina's going to be able to take her down.
Okay.
Izzy never had that threat. So
Yeah.
once you got to that title fight with Izzy, you're basically watching a kickboxing fight. Um, Yuri, not really known for his ground game. Um, Anybody else that Pajeda fought? Who else did he fight that was known for this ground game? Not very many. Um, I think the big
Mhm.
guy who just got a fight announced, Russian dude, Dagestani dude. They were talking about his wrestling, but that's mostly
Ankalaev.
because yeah, because he's from Dagestan. He's not known as a great wrestler over there. So um, Pajeda's had a different track than the Joker is going to have to do. So that comparison, while it is a straight up comparison, they fought in kickboxing. The Joker won. She's coming in. Valentina holds more skill for MMA um, than than Izzy did. She Izzy didn't have the grappling.
Yes,
Valentina has the
but
grappling. Valentina's going to win that fight if she
I'm not
can.
I'm not necessarily trying to pick a winner between the two. I'm saying we might not even get to see the fight because we're not ascending in a way that we should. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying I'd pick Wang Kong to take Valentina's crown by any sense of the word. Um,
Right.
but how are you gonna get there? That's my argument. How are we gonna get there? We're
She's
not
gonna
gonna get there on the back of decision
she's
wins
gonna keep
against
winning
Tracy
how she is.
Cortez and nah, brother. I think you're gonna either miss Valentina because she's gonna leave the sport, or you're gonna get skipped by people who
That might happen.
could get that quick fight, and that's on you
I don't know
personally.
who's gonna be the one that takes her. Who's gonna be the one that can grapple with her and take her down that's in that top? Because
I
I
think
mean,
Jillian
Grasso
Robertson.
could.
If the if
I don't
Jillian
know.
Robertson's in the same division, which I think they are, I think Robertson can wrap her up. Again, we watched her
I
struggle
mean, maybe.
for rounds with technically a less skilled grappler than Cortez. And I wouldn't even say that she was a less skilled grappler than Cortez. I just think Cortez has the marketing behind her and has
Right.
better hands than the grappler that Wang Kong initially fought. Right. So I don't know if you're gonna do the
But
whole shtick where you give her the fake eyelashes and you play into this. I'm
I
really a
couldn't
killer,
believe it. I couldn't
and then
believe they
we,
said that.
yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, and then we go in there and we see somebody hurt, and we don't go for the finish.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be left with some questions. That's all.
Well,
That's all.
I
That's all
think
I
those
got.
questions are legit. I think she still gets there. I think as long as Valentina doesn't leave the sport first, which is very possible. If Valentina doesn't leave the sport first, I think you see Valentina versus the Joker at some point. Now that might change
Yeah.
um, if Grasso gets that title fight and wins, which I'd actually think probably will happen
Hmm.
if she gets that title fight. Um, you might see a Valentina if she doesn't retire at that point. You might see Valentina Joker there, where it's not even for the title. And if Valentina wins,
Hmm.
Joker might not ever get a title shot.
Yeah. She'll just be one of those fighters that are like fun, has great hand.
Hmm.
We're gonna have to ask questions a lot about
Yeah,
her skill. So next up, Luke Riley, Kai Kamaka. I don't have the most on this one in terms of notes.
I didn't actually get to see this one. This was the other fight that I missed. Somehow it slipped through after the Joker fought, and I caught the fight after that, but somehow I missed this fight. I'm not exactly sure how that happened.
I watched it, but I mean, I think it was pretty competitive for about 3 minutes.
Hmm.
Luke Riley was faster. Kai
Yeah,
Kamaka was staying in front of him a little bit too much. Luke landed, and he
yeah,
landed sharp. And you're hearing early stoppage. And my wife watched a lot of these fights with me.
yeah. What
Um,
you think?
and she made a very good point that yes, technically he wasn't out all the way. Yes,
Right.
technically he was on his feet. Technically, you could argue that if you allow him a chance to recover, there's potential for him to bounce back and sneak something out. But like when you call a fight and you walk up and put your hands on a fighter and he stumbles and kind of almost leans on you,
Yeah.
what's the what's the benefit of allowing him to take 5 to 6 more unanswered punches just because he's standing up against the cage?
Yeah.
You know, like it's not like it's not like he had a grip on Luke Riley necessarily. It's not like they were on the ground and he made a quick shuffle to grab a leg or defend on the ground or something like that. He took a bunch of punches unanswered, no defense.
Hmm.
He was just on his feet while he did it, and the ref stepped in and stopped.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna call it. I'm not gonna call it a early stoppage at all. I'm fine with it. I understand people's perspective. I'm 100% fine with it. You're gonna definitely have to go back and watch it. Um, but yeah, I see no issues with it.
Um, my only question on that is, was he intelligently defending himself? I've seen plenty of fights stopped against the cage where the guy's not defending themselves, and it was for his benefit. But if he was not defending himself, then no matter where they're at, you got to call the fight. We saw it in the first
I
Adesanya
don't think he
Pereira
was
fight. Not
intelligently defending himself.
Yeah, not to bring up the first Adesanya fight with Pereira, to beat a dead horse, but
Mm-hmm.
Adesanya was not down on the ground. And a lot of people thought that was a bad stoppage as well. I don't think so. He wasn't intelligently
It
defending
was not.
himself. So that's an
No, he
easy
was not.
call if you look at it that way. Um,
Uh-huh.
Unfortunately, because he's on his feet, there are people out there that are going to say bad stoppage, but I don't think so.
A guy
Probably.
doesn't have to be completely concussed or, you know, decapitated for a fight to be
Right.
called, right?
Yeah.
And this leads me to my next one, that there's never been an easier pick than Adrian Yanez versus Cody Garbrandt. And it's for the same reasons. A power
Yeah.
puncher against a guy with a chin who's practically gone.
Yeah.
Cody is going to look good moving around. As soon as he gets
Hmm.
tagged
Yeah.
on the chin, the
Yep.
night's going to end
Yep.
pretty quickly. And they allowed him to take more damage than he needed to because they wanted to see him go lights out.
Hmm. Yeah.
If I punch you and you're not even making eye contact with me anymore and you're stumbling
Right.
sideways out of the octagon pretty much,
Yeah.
you could rush in there and stop the fight.
Yeah.
You could stop me from taking more damage. You could stop me from taking more brain damage because you're going to let this guy run onto me
Hmm.
when I'm clearly out of it and give me more brain damage
Yeah.
that I don't need. And then you're going to call it anyway.
Hmm. Yeah.
For what? You're just weakening my chin, right? Kai Kamaka lives to potentially fight another day,
Oh
right?
yeah.
You allow Izzy to take a severe beating by Alex in that first fight. Who knows what that second fight looks like, especially for
Yeah.
Izzy's confidence, right?
Hmm.
Like, protect the fighter from themselves if it's clear that they're out.
Yeah.
We could spin it back to the Zahabi Sugar fight. Like, yes, that might have been an early stoppage, but what do you think was the best
Yeah.
scenario if they allowed the
Yeah.
shot under pounce on them? What would have
No.
been the best scenario?
100%.
Because
Yeah.
Zahabi already wasn't a great wrestler. What was he going to do?
Mhm.
Right? And we've seen Sean dribble people's head off the mat.
Yeah.
Like, so all this to say, sometimes the early stoppage is
Hmm.
necessary.
Yeah.
And I'm glad they stopped it early for Kai. And I wish they had stopped it earlier for Cody, but they did
Yeah.
not.
No.
And both of those, I think, ended within 2 rounds. If I'm not mistaken, both of those ended in the first round.
I'm pretty sure the
You have
Cody
any
one
notes on those
ended in the
ones?
first round. Nah, Giannis looked pretty good in
Yeah.
there, but a lot of people do against Garbrandt these days. So, um, it's kind of
That's
hard
the
to
thing.
say.
Like, there was a moment where Giannis looked a little bit like, not necessarily that he was struggling, but it was allowing Cody to kind of move around a bit. It's just
Yeah.
when you connect on
Yeah.
Cody, that's
He
it.
put himself in danger.
So he could do his dancing, Yeah, he could dance, he could get out the way, but as soon as there's an exchange,
Yeah.
we talked about the
Yeah.
Kalshi market on the last pod. If you put money on Cody, as soon as you see him take a significant strike, cash out
Yeah.
immediately because it's the beginning of the end, right?
Yeah.
The chin is no longer there.
Mm-mm.
And me personally, I don't want to see another Cody Garbrandt fight.
No.
Right, my last two memories of Cody is him running around the ring in the third round after getting 2 to 3 points deducted in a fight
Yeah.
from someone and not wanting to engage. And then my last image is him literally looking off into the distance, stumbling, and the ref's like, he's still there.
Yeah.
Go get him. Like, I don't need any more. I don't need any more Cody Garbrandt fights.
Yeah.
Um,
No.
we opened up. I think this was the last fight of the prelims. Correction, which I'm glad they did. Respect for Robert Whitaker was had because they shift
Mhm.
Gable Stevenson
I mean,
to the last fight of the prelim and then put Robert Whitaker on the main card. I know it doesn't matter anymore with Paramount,
right.
but I feel like we've disrespected the vets a little bit too much
I don't
over
know,
the
man. Those
years
announcers
just
disrespected
because we have a
Robert
new
Whitaker
prospect.
quite a bit.
Yeah, they kept calling him fat, which I mean, like,
They were body shaming him like a
okay,
champ this whole fight.
he might be fat, he might be a little pudgy, right? But is he fast? Yes.
Yeah, he's
Right?
fast.
Did he put those chubby paws on Krylov's jaw and break it? Sure did. So I prefer chubby Whitaker over shredded middleweight Whitaker,
Oh
who
man, that
has
should be
looked
his nickname.
terrible the last couple fights.
That should be his
Yeah, like
nickname.
what are we?
Chubby Whitaker.
Anyway, we'll get into that soon. We'll get into that soon. We got to talk about the Snack Panther, Elisha Ellison. He goes by the
Best
Snack Panther, which
nickname
is
on it.
hilarious.
Best nickname.
Against Gable Stevenson or Stevenson.
Stevenson. Mm-hmm.
We said he was gonna fight smart. He did not. Like,
Who, Stevenson?
I want to throw that out there.
No.
He brawled. He went in there and he brawled. He put his
Mm-hmm.
chin on the line. He was
Yeah, he
swinging for the
did.
fences. The front kick looked very agile,
Mm-hmm.
which gave me shades of John Jones, right?
Yeah.
Just very elite movement at that weight
Yep.
class.
Yeah.
The gas tank was there. The movement was there. The comfortability from like takedown attempt to popping back up and throwing hooks. Like he's an athletic heavyweight, which is
Yeah.
going to be a problem for many heavyweights.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is another fast track, but with a little bit more marketing type
Yeah.
situation in the heavyweight division for Gable Stevenson. I'm not going to say I was overly impressed. I just saw a way better athlete than the other guy. That's what I
Yeah.
saw. And unfortunately, these days in the heavyweight division, that's all you really need to see is a guy who's a
Yes.
way better athlete than the other guy. So can Gable Stevenson end up with a heavyweight strap by the end of the year? Yes. He has the right team. He has the right accolades. He's going to get the big fights. I wouldn't be surprised to see him against Hokit here soon, which could be exciting. But if
Yeah.
Hokit loses, man, oh man, to do all the work you did, to say all the cringy stuff you said, just to get done in again by the better athlete potentially,
Mm-hmm.
it would suck for him. But part of the fight game, right? I think they could ascend Gable to that Hokit fight ASAP, and then whoever wins that gets like a title eliminator fight against Volkov and is immediately into the heavyweight conversation after you get Gunn versus Aspinall 2, right? That's how
Yeah.
I see it shaping up. I have no real other notes to add. What says you about this Gable Stevenson fight?
Well, the long-awaited debut of Gable Stevenson brought a few surprises for me. Number one, he's much more of a brawler than I thought he was going to be. I thought he would be a lot
Yeah.
more calculated than he was. He put himself on the line out there. And there were some times where Ellison's throwing, and I'm like, is he going to knock Stevenson out? Is he going to knock Gable out?
He
Because
was
if those
tagging.
punches connect, there's a real chance that he goes out on his face in his debut. And
He was
I
tagging. They were exchanges where both guys were connecting, and I was like, "Whoa!"
yeah. I do think he is going to be a problem for every heavyweight when it comes to athleticism. Let's not forget this guy
Mhm.
is a world championship wrestler. He is not a silver medalist. He is not like he is a gold medal winner. He is a national champion college wrestler against the biggest guys around. So Aspinall is going to be much bigger. Gable Stevenson is not that big. He's 5'11". He's 240 pounds. Aspinall is going to look huge, and he is not going to be as good an athlete as Gable Stevenson is. Um, Hogan and him are probably very similar in size. I do like the mind game he's playing with Hogan, though. He's trying to force him to go down to 205 and force him out of the heavyweight division without
Mhm.
even fighting a fight, and he might do it. I don't know. Depends on how Hogan turns out. But when they announced, that he was fighting and he had fought maybe one or two fights, I said, watch out for him. Hogan needs to get to a title before Gable Stevenson comes in, because if he does not get to that title before that, Gable Stevenson is going to take everything. He's going to get into the heavyweight division and he's going
You
to
have
win a
been
title.
calling for that. You've been calling for that for a while. You've been calling for that for months, that if he doesn't hurry up and get that strap, Gable
Yeah.
Stevenson could jump him, actually.
And Gable Stevenson's playing mind games with Hogan out the gate about, oh, I hear he's moving down in weight. He's not, I mean, this man just fought a top five, top six heavyweight fought on the White House lawn. He had no
Mhm.
plans to go down to 205, and Gable Stevenson says, I ain't got to worry about him anyway. I hear he's going down. He's trying to beat him before they even get in the octagon. And I think the interesting one that I want to see him is, I'd love to see him against Gon, somebody who can strike, because you put him in there with a good striker who can control distance a little bit
Mhm.
with the way that he likes to brawl. If he can
Mhm.
keep him from getting inside on him and land some of those shots, we'll see what kind of chin he really has. Um, he leaves himself open. He's still got a lot of work to do. He is very raw. I tell you what, though, I saw that first side kick, that front leg kick that he did, and I was like, that's John Jones right there.
Mhm.
So he,
Yep.
you know,
A
he
thousand
he
percent John Jones right there.
he's got good coaching. You can tell he's listening to him by the way he threw that first kick. Um, so he's going to have quite a bit to go. Um, but Hokit fights out of the same gym. They
Yes.
both fight out of Winklejohn. So
Mhm.
um, that's an interesting thing. Maybe they're doing a whole Daniel Cormier, Cain Velasquez thing. One of them drops to 205. I don't know how good of friends they are, but they don't seem like they're friendly toward one another. So it's kind of
Nope,
interesting.
they do not. They do not.
Same gym, not friendly with each other.
I
That's
mean,
that's kind of interesting.
I'm intrigued to see where it goes, honestly. I I think the ceiling for Gable is higher, just based on him carrying the
Hmm.
weight a little bit better and him
Yeah,
being the more dangerous wrestler. I
yeah,
just I don't see the fight IQ yet. And I don't want to
yeah,
be the guy who keeps calling out fight IQ. But I think he's still living on the fact that he's a better athlete.
yeah.
What made a guy like John Jones so dangerous is because he was a little bit psychotic, and
Yeah.
he had the fight IQ and tools to
Mhm.
just do things that at that light heavyweight, especially, you weren't supposed to be able to do. You know, the
Yeah.
athleticism, the way he moved around, how comfortable he was off his back and on the ground. And again, just some of the ferocity because he was a psychopath.
Yeah.
Still technically is a psychopath. Um,
Well,
yeah, that's some of the things that I don't know. Yeah,
you got to see that killer instinct, because that last shot Gable Stevenson threw,
yeah,
um,
yeah. Was with all
that was,
terrible intention. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, bad
yeah.
intentions on that one. Um, but I'm excited to see where he goes. I think he is very raw. I don't think you put him against the top of the competition for at least another two fights. I think he gets two fights under his
Really, who do
belt,
you give him?
somebody
Derek
top
Lewis.
15, and then somebody top 5 to
Sacrifice
10.
Derek Lewis.
No, you don't sacrifice Derek
Keep
Lewis.
sacrificing Derek Lewis. You
Somebody who's
keep
10 to 15
sacrificing Derek
next.
Lewis.
I think 10 to 15 next,
Yes.
and then you go 5 to 10, and then you start putting him in the mix because he's got to get a little more polished, um, and have a little more
Yes.
experience under his belt. Now, could he win it straight out without that? Maybe, but right now he looks a little too raw to go up against somebody who's an accurate striker because he's getting hit. And Hoket's the same way though. Hoket's going to get hit as well. Um, I don't know which one's
Mhm.
going to take it better, but I say you go 10 to 15, and
I
then
would
his next
argue
fight 5 to
Stevenson.
10. Yeah, he might be able to.
I'd argue Stevenson. But I mean, like you said, we're pulling at straws. We don't know for sure.
Yeah.
Um, one guy who can't really take a punch now. Let me not do that to him. Nikita Krylov fights Robert the Dad Bod Whitaker, according to the commentators. Um, look,
Chubby Knuckles.
I got a little bit chubby knuckles. I got a little bit scared watching the fight because I had something in on it, and I thought
Yeah.
Robert Whitaker would win by a finish.
Mm-hmm.
And I held out for this fight because I was like, I could see it happening, right? But he looked winded in moments.
Who,
And
Whitaker?
I think that's what led to a little bit of the body shaming. Yeah.
I thought he was
I
done
think
after
he
the
found
first
his
round, the
breathing
way he
pattern.
looked. Yeah.
I, exactly. I think he found his breathing pattern in there, and he realized that light heavyweight, he doesn't have to worry about the pace getting amped up by his opponent because they
Mm-hmm.
are also big and also heavy, even though they carry it in a different way. So he
Yeah.
found his breathing. He was able to steady himself. You know, maybe they gave him a Twinkie in the corner. I don't know. The way they talk about my boy, they made it seem like he runs on Hostess cakes, right?
Hey.
But he came back off the stool. He kept applying the pressure. The hands at light heavyweight are fast. His
Yeah.
hands at light heavyweight are lightning quick compared to what the light heavyweights are used to seeing. He was
Yeah.
the smaller guy in there. Bobby
Mm-hmm.
Knuckles the power carried, which is what I was worried about
Yeah.
as well, is how the power would
Yeah.
carry. And he broke his jaw. It's very rare you see a guy take a shot, flex his jaw, and go, "Whoa,
No, no, I'm
no
done. This is
mas,
it.
like no mas." Yeah, like I feel it. Like this is gone, right?
Yeah.
Um, I was excited for multiple reasons, but you sit and you listen to the broadcast rip this man about his
Oh,
physique off
you know what?
rip all the way through the fight. I was rooting so hard for Chubby Knuckles. I was, and I'm glad that he did
Here's
what
the
he
thing.
did.
Let me say this. How how is Daniel Cormier or anybody gonna go in there and talk about Robert Whitaker at 205?
Daniel Cormier, you can stop there.
You
You
know,
can stop at Daniel
look,
Cormier.
this man has like 6
Yeah,
kids. What is he supposed
yeah.
to look like? You know? Um, it I like
Look,
the fact that he went out there with a dad bod and won. And, nobody inspires me more than Big Country, Roy Nelson, and how athletic he is. And Robert Whitaker is
yeah.
nowhere near Roy Nelson. Um, but he can still be athletic and be big. Um, they were doing him dirty though. It was kind of funny, but at the same time, like I don't know
They
if
were
that'll make
on
him
him.
smile or what, but they were going in on him.
You see, I think it's unfair. It's unfair to have Paulo Costa go up to light heavyweight,
Yeah,
and you're like, "Geez, like
yeah.
the man looks like he's been on like TRT or something, just shredded to the gills,
I
big
mean,
shoulders, big traps,
the
arms massive, you know,
the secret sauce they
legs
need to.
massive, and you're just
You
like,
know that chain that Costa wears
yeah,
about the secret sauce, whatever. He needs to get it diamond encrusted after going up to 205 and seeing the, because
he does.
Bobby Knuckles going up there does not look the same, but that speed carried, he got a knockout. Um,
The
I've never
power's
been
there,
a
man.
a
The
huge
the
fan of the way he fights, with his hands down like that, but it's effective. And it served him well his whole career, unless
He
your
could
name
get
is
away with it at light
Adesanya.
heavyweight.
Um, so, and it's crazy, kind of a Chris Weidman situation. You know, broke Anderson Silva's leg and then got his leg broken later on down the line. Robert Whitaker breaking
Yeah,
his jaw against Chimaev and then turning around and breaking Krylov's jaw. That was pretty nice
yeah.
come around there. I like to see him up there. I don't. I was low on him going up. I thought he was too old, a little too late on it. But
I was worried about it.
he proved me wrong on that one. Do I think he wins a title? I wouldn't go that far. I still don't think he wins a title at 205, but I think he competes in the top 10. I think he'll compete in the top 10. I don't
That
think he'll.
division doesn't give me any reason to let me believe that it's just out of the realm of possibility for our boy.
Oh yeah, there's top guys. I think he
I
beats Jamal Hill.
I think
I think I think he
Jamal
competes.
Hill's not coming back down to light heavyweight.
Yeah, but I still think if he were, he still beats him. Um,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
for sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't think that I think him and Volkan Ozdemir can go against each other. He's got some other guys up there
Hmm.
that he can fight that are going to, be big fights. I don't know that he sniffs the title up there, but I think he's got some good fights ahead of him. So I like him at 205. And don't kill yourself. You got 6 kids, you know?
Yeah, you don't need to do these intense weight cuts anymore. We talked, I
Yeah.
think, in the precursor about just the health issues he's had over the years. He could ease back, relax, and comfortably make 205. Um, Go back and watch your tape on mute. Don't listen to the commentators. Keep doing your thing. Keep
Hmm.
doing your thing, Bobby. Because I was impressed by the fight, and you
Yeah.
looked like the better athlete in there, even though
Yeah.
the commentators would disagree. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I misspoke. That was the last fight of the prelims. Now on to the main card. Terrence McKinney, Bobby Green, King Green. Let me not be disrespectful.
Yeah.
Um, I need answers. I do. Because somebody said there's a homing chip in Terrence McKinney that explodes if he goes to the second round. That's what they're saying. Like there's
Yeah.
there's there's that's the only explanation is if he gets to the second round, he will no longer be with us. And that's why the fight has to look the way it does.
Oh
Cuz
my gosh.
I'm a guy who goes back and I watch a lot of things and I watch interactions post fight and pre fight. And McKinney
Yeah.
said on Monday he was 184 to cut to lightweight,
Hmm.
which lightweight is 145, right?
155.
Yeah. That's close to that's 155. All right. So that's close to
Hmm.
a what? That's a 29-pound cut.
Yeah.
Um Not ideal, but like I've heard worse. And on fight night, he goes in there and he lets it all hang in the first 3 minutes of the fight. We talked
Yeah.
about the Kalshi prediction market. Every minute that ticks, no matter what it looks like, the longer this fight continues, the less and less likely it is that Terrence McKinney wins.
Yeah.
I will say the ground game, I don't know what he had going on. He should have been able to finish King Green there. Maybe he was already fatigued off of all the punches that he threw. King Green took a lot of damage. I wouldn't say he was really ever rocked. He was just
Right. Yeah.
bleeding profusely,
Hmm.
which he said that was all part of his plan. You're never going to
Oh
see me
yeah.
plan
Yeah.
like that. I'm not planning to take any cuts and bruises, but kudos to King Green because you could say you plan like that when you get out of the takedown, get back on your feet, and you immediately put your foot on the gas pedal to get Terrence McKinney on the back foot and catch him
Yeah.
in the liver, allegedly. Now, some people believe he was not caught in the liver, whichever side you're on.
Yeah.
I'm pointing to my co-host, right? But yeah, McKinney made it pretty clear that that's what he felt. He gassed out. He was hoping the ref would take him to round two. I don't think he was hoping that. You turn over and you take a couple of those shots facing up if you were trying to get to round two. You heard that 10-second counter. You know what it takes to
Mhm.
look like you're sufficiently defending yourself, and
Yeah.
you didn't do it. So I don't want to hear you're trying to make it around two. Um, Bobby Green pulls off one of the craziest comebacks ever.
Yeah.
Uh, after a first round beating like he took, and we move. It's the year of King Green. I guess 2026 is Bob. It's King Green's year.
Gingrich,
2026 is King Green's year.
better late
Because
than
I think you
never.
push him back into that. Yep, you push him back into that top 15 range. There are some dangerous lightweights up there, but who cares?
Yeah.
Right? This man is on an insane win streak, and he's taken out prospect after prospect after prospect at this point. So give
Yeah.
him somebody a little bit more established. His last two losses are to Paddy Pimblett, a dog, and Ilya, right? Or was it somebody else? I got to
I
go
don't
back and
remember
check.
him fighting Elliott. Did he
But
fight Elliott?
I don't think he fought Ilya. I'm tripping out. Oh, it's Rufy. My bad. His last two losses are
Rufi.
to
Yeah.
Rufy and Paddy.
Yeah, not
Those are
bad.
going to
Both top
age
5
very
guys.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are going
Yeah.
to age very well. Before that, Jalen Turner,
Turner. Yeah.
when motivated, also a dog. Before that,
Yeah.
Drew Dober. We know the Drew Dober lore. We don't need to get into that. And then Islam Makachev, right? Like he's
Yeah.
he's losing to guys who they're gonna either
Only top.
become something or the script
Yeah.
is written. There's only two
Yeah.
people that he loses to. So I don't know. Fazeev again ages very well. Like
Yeah.
lost to Dustin Poirier early in his career, lost to Barboza early in his career. These
Yeah.
losses age well,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So like
Well,
I don't know. I guess we'll see. Good win for him. I have nothing else to add. How do you feel about this fight?
Bobby Green has aged well somehow. He has
Yeah.
aged well in this fight game. He was pretty impressive. I don't know if you saw after the fight, Terrence McKinney and Bobby Green or King Green are talking after the
Mm-hmm.
fight.
Yes.
And McKinney, I believe, is basically saying, I was waiting for them to stop it for the second round. And King Green said, I knew the fight didn't start until I stood up. And he said, you were tired. You
Yeah.
know, you you know when the round ends, you were tired. And he said, I knew that fight didn't start until I
Mm-hmm.
stood up. Um, put him against top 15 guys, you know, put him against, some of these guys that are contenders and have been there and let him work his way up. I don't care how old he is. If he's winning fights, let him make a run. Like, I don't think they've
Mm-hmm.
let him really make a run because they're kind of used him as this gatekeeper. No, let him make a run. Put him against your top contenders. Let's see how he does. Um,
Give him an opportunity.
yeah, give it to him. He's earning it. Um, every single fight, he's doing nothing but going out there and winning. He is the person that everybody thinks Nate Diaz is. You
Yeah.
know,
I
he's the
like that.
person that
That's a
they
good. That's like
that they
quotable.
think Nate Diaz is. He's going to go out and win. Um, he's not afraid of anybody. He got in that one scrape with um, Armin Sarukian in the hallway. I think it was him and Armin Sarukian got into a
Mm-hmm.
little scrape in a hotel room, but or hotel hallway. But um, he's not afraid of any of these guys. Put him up against the guys, let him make a run, and let's see where it goes. McKinney might explode if he hits that second round. Now, with that liver shot, it is possible that that was a clean liver shot. Like people throw the elbows. When
That
you throw
grazed
the
him.
elbows, you're not trying to
Yeah.
throw the elbow into it. You're trying to use your elbow, this part right here, to cut their face. It's like to slice it. So if he's
Yeah.
coming
Point.
across with
Yeah.
his knuckles just at that spot, okay. Man, there was no slowing down of that punch. Like, it almost looked like it didn't even connect when you look back on it.
Here's the other thing too, which I don't want to act like I'm
I
a
just
doctor of sorts or like or an
I just can't
official,
see him
but I feel like when your body
not
is
having
drained,
that.
it doesn't take much to rock you, you know?
Yeah, yeah, and you just cut
Like
what'd you say, 30 pounds?
yeah,
You know?
30
Yeah,
pounds. I cut
it
30
doesn't
pounds.
take
I throw
much.
back on a ton of weight really quickly. My body's gonna be sore. I'm gonna
Yeah,
be
just to
feeling probably the side effects of that. I just worked really hard for 4 minutes expecting to get you out of there, and now I'm
yeah.
breathing heavy. And I'm
I
already
mean,
looking to the bell like, okay, we need to get there.
does it look like it connected? No, it didn't look like it connected, but he's a professional fighter throwing a punch, and it probably hurts worse than
Yeah,
everybody realizes. But I'll give anybody this that says it doesn't look like it connects to the on a liver shot. It's in the right place. It just looks like he goes straight, liking just a very small graze. But he's a professional fighter throwing a big punch,
that's
so
what it is.
it probably still does
That's what it
affect him
is.
like that. So, mm,
100%. It is what it is. Um, we move to what I think was the fight of the night potentially. Um, well, I don't know if I'd necessarily say potentially. I'd probably put it in there. Based on obviously longevity of the fight, quality of the fight. There were moments on both sides. Kavanaugh versus Brandon Royval. I had written off Brandon Royval in this one. I
I
think
did too.
Kavanaugh did show a little bit of his youthful um, susceptibility to make mistakes.
Mhm.
You know, I think he blew his gas tank in a couple moments trying to go for a finish in a very awkward position. I think he had moments on the feet where he did his thing against Royval. I think Royval played the distance game very well, and had Loner in very bad spots on the ground consistently enough to pull out this rear naked choke and get him out of there. Um, Royval might be God's strongest soldier because they are giving him the gauntlet to
Yeah.
fight, and it's been a rough couple years. When you look back at this list, Brandon Moreno win, split decision. Tetsuro Taira split decision win. Joshua Van unanimous decision loss. KO'd by Manel Cop. He's putting everybody out, and then a submission win against Kavanaugh. I think you're looking at probably 5 of the top 15 flyweights
Mhm.
in the
Yeah.
UFC, probably in the last 5 to 10 years, is what you're going to say in about 4 years. He went through 5 top 15 flyweights, probably in flyweight history, is what you might go
Yeah.
back and look at.
Yeah.
Granted, the flyweight history is not that deep right now, but
It's not, but
I think
still,
Kavanaugh has a long way to go.
I mean,
At 27, he's looking amazing, and he's getting
yeah.
his tests really, really early. Um, Obviously, Brandon Moreno has been multiple time champion.
Mhm.
Tetsuro Taira has shown the ability to be able to take a strong shot and be very creative on his feet as well. Van is a 2-time champ now, and Cop is looking like he's right on the heels of making it a tough title defense for Joshua Van. I think
Yeah.
Royval taking this fight was a lot of risk again, but the reward is great. It keeps him
Mhm.
in that upper
Yeah.
echelon, in that backup kind of role where he'll be able to fill in. I just think that the line is still long. I think he's
It is.
behind Manel Cop. I think he's behind Pantoja. I think he's behind a
Yeah.
Tetsuro Taira rematch potentially. Um,
You think he's behind?
Horiguchi should be behind him. I think they would give Tetsuro Taira a rematch before they give Royval a shot at the belt. I think
Interesting.
both of them are a fight away, and if they both win it, I think Tetsuro Taira is closer to going up. I could see Tetsuro Taira versus Horiguchi in Japan,
Mhm. Oh, that would be great.
and whoever wins that is right there. You know,
Yeah.
um,
Or
but
or Tyra versus Royval and Horiguchi
Mhm.
versus somebody like a Moreno, but I think they've already fought. But
or
anyway,
Horiguchi versus Kavanaugh.
yeah, yeah. Um,
Yeah,
I was actually thinking Kavanaugh Tyrus since they both lost. But
Yeah, you could do that
has
too.
Horiguchi and Roy Val fought? I don't think they have.
I don't think so. No,
So
I don't
either
think
one of
so.
those, or
And if it has, it's
either one mix and
yeah,
match of those two things headlining in Japan would be a monster card
yeah,
for to bring
yeah,
MMA, you know, UFC into Japan. That would be great.
yeah. It would be fantastic. Yeah. Um, but I mean, I don't really have any other notes. I think it was an amazing fight. Personally, I
Hmm.
enjoyed it thoroughly. I really, really was pulling for Kavanaugh.
Yeah.
Um, I was smart enough to avoid this on like almost all my slips. By the way, don't know how
Were
I
you?
did that. um, yeah, but good fight nonetheless. And I hope I didn't go back to check if Roy Vile got that fight of the night bonus, but I hope he did. They definitely deserved it.
Yeah.
One of the bigger underdogs to pull off the upset in this one, and then we go into one that I feel like we had a pulse on the fight: Mario Batista, Corey Sandhagen.
Hmm.
Um, hard to beat somebody twice. Hard to beat
Yeah.
somebody twice.
Yep.
Uh, the leg stretch. I still can't remember the name because it's kind of out there. Um, the submission that Asu Almabayev pulled on Charles Johnson.
Hmm.
Mario Batista almost had a moment where he pulled it on Corey Sandhagen.
Yeah.
Didn't execute it, but I think it changed the trajectory of the fight in a crazy, crazy way.
Yeah.
Because after that, Corey Sandhagen's movement looked completely different. Um, if a fight's 29-28 and a guy loses practically the two ending rounds, that's all that should tell you a lot, right? I think Batista applied very strong pressure up front. Batista did get the knockdown in the
Hmm.
third round. I don't know if they quoted it as that. Yep, they did give it to him. Had a knockdown in the third round. Was applying pressure there as well. Had moments on the ground where he was in advantageous positions against Corey Sandhagen. Obviously, I talk about that leg stretch submission that he almost got in the first round at the end of the first round.
Hmm.
Batista said that once he realized that the leg was compromised, he was
Yeah.
trying to take that thing off. This is
Yeah.
fighting. This is what you do. You see a weakness, you go to exploit it.
Hmm.
I was impressed by just the pressure he applied, even with Sandhagen still being able to get some creative strikes off. Batista was just there for all 15 minutes, and I think it was a great performance. I think it ascends him in that bantamweight conversation because same thing, almost like a Roy Val situation. They try to give him the gauntlet. Obviously, Patchy Mix didn't work out, but you're
Yeah.
talking Aldo, Umar Nurmagomedov,
Hmm.
Vinicius Oliveira, Corey Sandhagen. Um, you know that's a four piece of some destruction right there,
Yeah.
and he made it out of there 3-1.
Yeah.
So I think he should kind of be in that realm on the back
Yeah.
end. I think Peter Yan, Sugar Sean is the fight to make.
Hmm.
And I think he's kind of right in that range though, where you could possibly see him go against like shoot, I'd have to see the rankings, but there's not many other bantamweights above him
No,
outside of
there's
that
not.
realm. Yeah. I think if you really want to not do right by Marab, you could go Marab Batista, but Marab really should only be getting a rematch, in my
Yeah.
opinion, based on the type of champion he was.
Yeah.
So,
Definitely.
uh, I got no other notes for that one. How do you feel about that one?
He Bautista won the fight off of that knee bar. Yeah, I don't remember the
Yeah,
exact name of it, but it's a type of knee bar. And
yeah.
he, I think he did execute it. Sandhagen just didn't tap to it. They said that, I think,
Mm,
Corey Sandhagen's hamstring is torn. So he ripped his leg up, but Sandhagen didn't tap to it, and he wasn't the same after that fight, after that. So I think that won him
no.
the fight, ultimately. He stayed out of danger the rest of the fight. Did wasn't
Hmm.
overly impressive looking, but it's hard to look impressive against Corey Sandhagen. Corey Sandhagen's gonna do
It
the right
is.
moves.
I mean, he dropped
He's a
him.
solid fighter. Yeah. Um, but it's not like he had this like domination when I went back and watched the fight that I had heard that he had,
No.
even against somebody with a jacked up leg like that. So, but having watched the fight,
Hmm.
that that won him the fight. I think if that move, if he doesn't uh, get that on him, I think you've got a Corey Sandhagen that might win this fight, but you never know because you didn't get to see it without that happening. So you just don't know if he would have. He got it and he was skillful the rest of the fight. He was trying to take that leg off in the second round though. I was watching him kick at it and kick at it and kick at it, and Sandhagen just stayed with it. So um, Sandhagen's still good. Still,
Sandhagen threw kicks with it.
yeah, yeah,
Savage.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Bautista's definitely top of the division. I mean, he's um I think he's one of the top 5, 6 guys in the division. Um, is he more in the gatekeeper role? Maybe, just because there's such a line in front of him. He's not gonna get a title shot off of
Mm.
this, but he's gonna be somebody who, if you're looking for a title shot, you wanna beat Bautista. So, and that's a tall order because he is not easy to beat. So, um,
No,
so
very
good for him.
impressive.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, great win. Um, this next one we're going to talk about longer than it actually went. I feel like, um, BSD versus Paddy Pimblett. So I don't like to toot my own horn. I'm lying. Toot toot. I'm going to toot my own horn when I get the opportunity to. Um, we talked about fight IQ and guys having a lack of it. We talked about Dan Hooker
Mhm,
having advantageous ground positions against BSD. We talked about Dustin Poirier jumping the gilly on BSD
mhm,
and being in a very, very close situation as somebody who's never landed a guillotine choke in his entire life, in the UFC at least.
mhm,
And we talk about Paddy's creativity with submissions. And the one thing that BSD does not want to do is engage in a potential putting yourself in a situation where Paddy could jump a guillotine or
mhm,
approach a way to get around that neck and submit you. Now, BSD doesn't watch The Art of MMA
mhm.
or the Kick and Post YouTube channel. I could confidently say that. I don't think you need to watch the Kick and Post YouTube channel or The Art of MMA to understand that when a guy's an elite grappler, even if you're not the same level striker as that guy, the one thing you do not want to do is charge with your head down into his arms, onto his waist, and allow for there to be the easiest choke attempt Paddy has ever had in probably live fighting action ever. You gave him your neck,
Mhm.
and Paddy took it.
Yeah.
That's all she wrote. Tight grip. You wiggled. You rolled. Paddy rolled with you. He said he tried what was called the Colombian necktie, or what was it called?
The
Some insane addition on top of a Darce choke. Peruvian necktie.
Peruvian necktie, yeah.
I think the Colombian necktie is a little bit more
The
graphic.
Colombian neckties,
Um,
yeah. The
it's a little bit more graphic. He
yeah,
did
with
not hit him with the Colombian
yeah.
necktie. He hit
No,
him
the
with the Peruvian necktie.
yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah.
So
uh, I don't know. I hate to be right that quickly because we don't get to see what a stand up. We don't get to see like what a stand up fight would look like. We don't get to see if BSD with a little bit more common sense is able to approach the fight differently, right? And I say common sense, that's a bit harsh, but you did the one thing. It's kind of like the Charles Oliveira Ilya Tapuria situation, where I said that too. The one thing he couldn't do is leave his chin in a susceptible area to get
yeah,
tagged. He tried to stand and trade with Ilya. That was never the path to victory. Why did we decide to do that? To this day, I don't know. Charles is on
yeah,
an insane run now, and I don't know if he gets that one back. I think there's potential for him to get that one back.
yeah.
Me personally, I'm pegging a Ilya versus Paddy in Spain fight. That's what I want to see
Be
next.
great. Be
Or
so
a
good.
Ilya versus Paddy in Liverpool, right? Something, it needs to be massive. It needs to be huge.
Yeah.
They need to be headlining a pay-per-view, so to speak, right?
Hmm.
But you do the one thing that you couldn't do and you lost the fight
Yeah.
before you even realized the fight was going on. Probably, right? And it's tough to see. I had Paddy winning it. You had Paddy winning it. Half the
Hmm.
world had Paddy winning it, but he never became a favorite.
Yeah.
Shouts out to you, sports books.
It's
Um,
right.
Paddy
Thank you.
hasn't won by submission in a very long time. Yeah, exactly right. Thank you. Paddy hasn't
Yeah.
won by submission in a very long time. A lot of people took that straight. Congratulations to you guys. Um, some people took Paddy to win in either round 1 or 2. I didn't have to wait long on that. Thank you again
Mhm.
for
Yeah.
BSV's fight IQ or lack thereof, like I
Yeah.
mentioned in the last video.
Yep.
We give a lot of credit to guys winning fights. Sometimes it's not as simple as winning the fight. Sometimes it's how you win the fight. I want to see you dominate Dan Hooker, who, again, for all the toughness and all he does not have the strongest fight IQ. I watched Dan Hooker piece you up on the feet and give you problems on the floor.
Hmm.
That's not somebody I'm going to pick to beat somebody who went 5 rounds with the champ of the
Champ.
division.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
Yep.
not, again, I'm not Vegas. I'm not all knowing, but sometimes, like, it seems
Yep.
like an easy equation. Anywho, congrats to Paddy. He could talk his smack now. He could call for who he wants. The person he lost to is the champ, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's what it is. He could go back
Yep.
to calling Ilya a sausage, and he could call for Armin Sarukian and whoever he wants because he did what he was supposed to do.
Yep.
Um, he did say if he lost to BSD, he was considering retirement. I can't even knock him for that statement anymore because on the list of like fight IQ, if you
Mm.
fall into a trap that BSD sets you,
Yeah.
you know those little cartoon traps where it's like a stick holding up a cardboard
Hmm.
box. There's like a slice of pizza under it, but
Yeah.
it's very clear what's about to happen. If you fall into one of those traps, it might be time to retire. So
Yeah.
it is what it is. Paddy wins. I don't think I have much else to say about a 52-second fight. What says you?
Um, that was first day jujitsu for a wrestler.
Dang.
Hear me out. Hear me out.
Yeah.
I wrestled growing up. I could get a double leg because you can shoot when you wrestle. It looks
Mhm.
like somebody taught him how to shoot.
Mhm.
Okay. The reason it stuck out to me is because I saw Daniel Cormier talk about it when he's teaching his guys. I saw a video of him teaching it, and he was teaching them that when you go in and you shoot that double or you shoot the high crotch, you can't have your head up.
Mhm.
In wrestling, your head stays up when they come in because you want to eventually go through them and look up their back when you turn the corner. So
Yep.
Saint Denis went in with his head up. That is perfect wrap around the head guillotine. First day in jujitsu for just about every wrestler, I think. They shoot with their head up and get guillotined on the very first time. You have to learn to shoot and not keep your head so high because if your head is that in wrestling, they're not going to guillotine you necessarily. At least they didn't back when I did it. Now they might. They're doing some crazy things now.
Mhm.
But
They're doing
um,
some crazy things now.
you know, he just shot in with his head just straight up right into Paddy's guillotine. Like
Right
all
in the
he had to
pocket.
do was wrap it up and
Right in the
throw his
pocket.
legs up. Um, it was like, here, let me give
He
you the
placed it. He
victory.
went like this.
Boom. Yeah. Yeah. Um, and had I not just seen Cormier talking about it, I would have maybe not made that connection so much, but I immediately thought of the first time I got guillotined when I shot a shot. I got right in on him, and my head just went right where they guillotine you. And I was like, huh, that's what BSD just did. Yep. Saint Denis just did exactly what Cormier said not to do. And he did it on the first shot against a master jujitsu guy. You don't. You don't do that. Um,
No, you don't.
you just don't do that. And he's going to kick himself for it because as soon as he goes back and he watches the tape, hopefully he's going to recognize immediately what his mistake was. Um, and then hopefully he'll learn from it. But it's one of those moments where it's like, I just gave him my head on a platter and there
Yeah.
you go. Lost my shot at a title shot probably because and Gaethje would have creamed him with that. He'd have front headlocked him all day or guillotined him himself. He might have picked him up and power
Gaethje would have
slammed
beat
him.
him
I
in
think,
probably 2 rounds.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Gaethje would have beat
um,
him in 2 rounds, maybe even less.
yeah.
I think that's one of
So,
the flaws of beating a Beneil Dariush the way he beat him,
mhm,
and a flaw in fighting a Dan Hooker and looking quote unquote good against Dan Hooker is we're not going based on the measuring scale of like how good was the comp. We're going based on like the name and
yeah,
the potential, I guess, the risk for losing it. Dan Hooker's a fan favorite. Beneil Dariush beat a couple guys that weren't great, and you drop Beneil Dariush and you knock him out. What
mhm,
a feat! And Dan Hooker is such a savage, and you were able to get in there and just whoop on him. The ref let you just beat him to a pulp, and you're such a savage. But none of that really shows me how you're going to perform against a top guy. That shows me
yeah,
that you can get rid of the guys that you probably should get rid of. That you
yeah,
don't need much fight IQ to beat. I think I have been quoted saying, "Strong evening breeze will knock out Beneil Dariush." Very disrespectful. I kind of take it back a little bit. But like, you go back and watch the punch that BSD landed.
yeah,
I don't think he even mean to knock out Beneil Dariush in that fight, right? So like,
yeah,
it's tough. He'll be a fun competitor. He'll be in the mix. He'll be a fun guy that guys like Paddy will get a chance to fight and potentially get back into good standing. Um, but you got to be smarter than that. And if we're at
yeah,
this point in the game and we're not smarter than that, you know, what are we doing, right?
yeah,
Like, if he fought a Jorge, we would have had a repeat of the Ben Askren situation.
yeah,
He put himself in a position to get creamed,
yes,
and
yeah,
he has nobody to blame but himself. So like, tough way to go out. Appreciate you for adding to the pockets of me. And we move on to what further multiplied my pockets. The main event.
Now hold on now. Paddy,
Okay.
who's his next
Yes.
fights? Because I got a name.
Ilya.
I You think Ilya?
Ilya.
I think they could do Ilya
It
too.
needs to be Ilya.
I think they could do Ilya, but if they don't
I
do
think it
Ilya,
should be Ilya.
I think it should be too. But if they don't,
Armand.
that's what I'm thinking. And I think Paddy wins that fight.
Armand.
I think Paddy chokes him out.
Ooh, okay. Ooh, okay.
Dan Hooker
Now that would be
Dan Hooker had Armand in
ha-
2 chokes, 3 chokes that Armand rolled out of.
yeah.
I don't think you roll out of that with Paddy. And if Dan Hooker can choke you like
Oliveira
that, I think Paddy can choke him like that.
Oliveira had Sarukian dead to rights.
Yeah,
Oliveira had Sarukian dead to rights, and one short size too small, and that fight is done.
yeah.
Right. So like,
I think Paddy wins that fight.
that would be interesting. Picking Paddy by submission against Sarukian
Mhm.
could possibly retire us. So if they make
Yeah.
that,
Hey!
we might need to call Voya and see what we can make happen.
And if it doesn't
But
retire
yeah,
us,
I
well,
think
whatever.
there's
We'd be the only ones picking it, but
yeah, right. I think the potential for big fights for Paddy is just endless now.
yeah,
No one's
yeah.
loss has aged better. I don't know how you could get beat to a pulp and literally a month later everybody's like, that Paddy guy is probably the second best lightweight in the
Paddy
division.
guy's pretty good.
Right? Like that's the crazy ascension from what he went through.
Yeah,
Just goes to show you how quick the fight game could kind of flip on its head.
yeah.
Right? But speaking about the fight game flipping quick on its head,
Mhm.
the title fight. Now I'm not gonna showboat. I'm not gonna come around and act like somebody tearing their leg is gonna validate my take, right? I am gonna say that I had questions about somebody being off 5 years and not winning in 6, coming back to fight somebody of Max Holloway's caliber.
Mhm.
Um those questions still remain. I did say I didn't want to see him in a striking match with Max Holloway. I did not predict the flying roundhouse kick from the jump.
Right.
That was not in my deck of cards of what I could see happening, leading to a torn ACL. And I won't really cover conspiracy theories in this one because I feel like we could come back into a whole different pod about all the poly market ads and all the gambling stuff that he's been signed up with, and
Uh,
the consistent heavy push for people to bet on Conor, and him walking into a pain management treatment facility allegedly, and then coming out and saying that it was a dentist's office. Right? It could have been a dentist's office, could have been a pain management facility. Right? Um, the fabled avoiding pressure on that leg when taking off his shoe, which I think might be a little bit of an overplay because he was throwing kicks in the back. Right?
he
Um,
was.
the walkout, people saying, "Yep," the walkout, people saying that didn't look confident, saying that his aura seemed off. We could go into the whole landslide of reasons why he was not Conor. The one thing I'm going to lean back on are the facts. He beat Cerrone in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
He brought somebody who's a lightweight up to welterweight, I think, back then as well,
Mm-hmm.
and beat a guy who clearly was there for the payday. No offense to Cerrone, but he was on the way out the door and took that fight because it's a payday. All power to you, right?
Yeah.
He tried to run the same kind of system back with a guy whose last loss is Charles Oliveira,
Mm-hmm.
top of the division, who fought Ilya under a year and a half ago, who fought Dustin, who fought Justin Gaethje, right? Like, Cerrone was beating up on, Uber drivers essentially at the back end of his
Yeah.
career. Like, there's a different level of
Yeah.
performance from both guys, and I stand by that. We didn't get to see it necessarily, but I stand by that. And he threw that high kick for whatever reason. Conor McGregor came out and threw that high kick. He tore his leg up. We don't know what the future would have held in that one. We knew Max wins in under 2.5 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But there was nothing to really learn. We were waiting for results on what that injury is. Do we get Conor back again? I don't think we need to. Right? And
No.
I wanna shout out somebody who asked me a question about my take on Conor. Jordy, friend of the pod, soon to be
Mm-hmm.
co-host of our college football show, asked me very specifically if John Jones was to come back, would I feel the same way? No. And here's why. The heavier and less competitive the weight class, I feel like skills could prevail, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
don't think if we get John Jones back, it's going to be against a guy as dangerous as Max Holloway, right? That matters. John Jones, when he came back off of a long layoff, it wasn't because he was finding God coming off of his steroid and coke bend. No offense, not trying to be mean. Or if I'm trying to be mean, who cares? He wasn't living life right either, right? But he
I was
he
gonna
was
say
doing a
which
lot of
one.
things that was
Which one
not
are we
preparing.
talking about here?
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, right. But we had somebody who fought, stepped away from the sport to gain weight and go up to a heavier
Mhm.
weight class.
Yeah.
Fought for the light heavyweight title. I think it was 2 years till he fought for the heavyweight belt.
Mm-hmm.
Might be off on my timing. It was not 6 years between fights. It was not 5 years between fights, I should say. And it wasn't him coming off of a debilitating injury. The last time he got taken out of the cage, his leg was in half. He wasn't
Mm-hmm.
supposed to fight again. He counteracted that with the steroid usage and a little bit of a divulsion into just Conor style living, if we're being honest, right? But self-loathing because of what he was going through, probably. And then he tried to make a turnaround, and he picked one of the, again, top guys to fight on his comeback. That's a
Yeah.
difficult ask for anyone. Take
Yeah.
away the nostalgia, take away the name. If you bring a fighter back like that in that situation, they're not a favorite. They're not a plus 350 odds. They're probably higher. And for
Yeah.
Polymarket and people who talk about the sport, to be confident in saying that Conor is going to win a striking match at that. Like, we had our moment
Hmm.
where we thought he'd go in there and wrestle, and maybe that's the path that he saw. As soon as you talk striking, the conversation should have ended. There's a speed difference, even with the weight difference. There's just a actual game speed difference to both guys. And we, even with all these things I'm saying, we still don't know. It ended abruptly with an injury, and we move on, right? Conor
Yeah.
wants to get that fight back. Max wants to get that fight back. Obviously, the numbers that came out says that Conor made 30 mil and Max made 3 um in that short stint of time that they fought. If I'm Conor, I definitely want another 30 mil. If I'm Max,
Hmm.
I want another $3 million, right? Like, I get the aspects of it, but me personally, as Max, there's still an opportunity to fight for a strap. And unless I'm in a position in my career now where I'm comfortable just getting the paydays, I need to be looking forward.
Yeah.
There's guys out there I could fight, right? Justin Gaethje just got the belt. I put him on his face. Like,
Yeah.
what do we got going on? I should be right there. You want this win back? Come get this win back, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to make Conor money. You're not. You're not going to make Conor money, but you could get the undisputed belt back
Yeah.
after all these years. But do you even want that? Max has been a champ and carried
Yeah.
a belt and been robbed of holding the belt, I feel like, in a couple scenarios where maybe he just
Yeah.
doesn't care about that belt anymore, right? He tried to talk himself into it a little bit, but in between him saying he wants the gold belt back, he's calling for that Conor fight. So I say all that to say this. It was a little bit of a disappointing final fight to such a great card.
Uh-huh.
Um, you don't get the gratification of seeing the fight play out and seeing who was actually on the right side of history.
Yeah.
Um, and then we just kind of go from there. We move on to the next one. I think me personally, as a fan of the sport, I don't need to see Conor McGregor back in the octagon again. I feel like there's enough talent if you actually enjoy watching the fighting aspects of it, right? The guys will
Hmm.
never sell a fight like Conor. Um, but you're going to have guys who are more well-rounded. You're going to have guys who are way more skilled, right? You're going to have guys who could build a huge career and have huge moments, and you don't necessarily have to have that side necessarily if you're just watching for the love of the sport.
Yeah.
And I think for me, where my love of the sport kind of came after the Conor McGregor era, I'm more
Hmm.
comfortable seeing him not come back. But for guys who I know fell in love with sport because of Conor, it's going to be hard for them to let that go and
Yeah.
you know, find that intrigue for UFC again without him being a part of it. So that's my take. How do you feel about that fight?
So when I first heard this fight, we talked about it. I thought Connor's
Yeah.
power was going to translate, and Connor would be able to come back with the power, and it would be too much for Max.
Hmm.
And then I saw training
Yeah.
videos, and the training videos, McGregor did not look the same. He did not look as fast. He did not look as crisp. He looked like I thought his weight would be enough when we first started talking about this that he's used to carrying that weight around, that he's going to be able to handle that weight. And it didn't look like it was
Yeah.
too much for him, but he just looked slower. He looked a lot slower. Max looked real fast. Max looked real crisp. I still thought the power might be there, but but yeah, he just there was something off about him this week. The whole week there was something off about him. It felt like, um,
Hmm.
and Max being able to have that endurance that Connor doesn't have, and being able to throw those fast shots, a lot of shots. Max puts it on him when he puts it on him. Um, as far as Connor's injury, could be a freak accident. It almost sounds like it's something they probably knew about ahead of time, possibly. Um, he was throwing that kick in the back. They showed him in video practicing that exact kick, and he was doing it.
Mhm.
So I don't know that this was planned. I don't, as far as, some people have these conspiracies that it was planned, that they knew this fight wasn't going to last very long. The one thing I'll say though, as a fight fan, when a fighter is looking at the referee and pointing their hand out and saying that he is done, that there's something wrong, and the opponent is doing this, saying, "Hey, there's something wrong. He's not right.
Mhm.
He's hurt." The referee needs to listen to that. You know, the guy's on his back anyway. What's the harm of taking the time and saying, "Hey, what's going on?" And I understand they can't do that in every situation, but um, he was obviously injured, and he was throwing kicks back, but not anything that's going to be effective. He couldn't really stand up. Every time he tried to stand up, he went back down. Um, they should have stopped it when that was happening even earlier than they did, even though it didn't last long and Connor didn't take any damage. That was at the Max's mercy because they were willing to let Connor take whatever damage Max wanted to put on him. So he only
Yep.
walked out of there unscathed because Max was a gentleman in there and saw that he was hurt. Because there are other people that would have just slam knocked him out, because the ref's not calling the fight. So now I got to jump on him. And
Yep.
Max didn't do that to his
Yep.
credit. Um, Max wants to fight with Connor. And Max knows that's where the money is. Could he call for a title? He could, but he
Yeah.
immediately started calling for him and Connor three. He's got one. McGregor's got one.
Mhm.
He wants to win in the trilogy. Um, I don't want to see Conor McGregor come back out there. I don't want to see him at 38, 39 years old trying to make a comeback. Um, he doesn't need to do that. Um, he's always kind of been a one-dimensional fighter on the feet, so I don't think he's going to contend for any titles, especially not at 170. Um, you could do it for nostalgia. You want to make a few tens of millions of dollars. Um, But it's not something he has to do. I don't think it's really gonna be something the fans are gonna be clamoring for either. So that money might not be there. I mean, it'll be there for one more fight, but I don't know that it's gonna be there for 2, 3 more fights? You can only get injured on a comeback and make that quick money one time, and then you gotta fight the next time. So I'm not sure that that works out very well, for him long term. I think he needs to pivot and go into keep doing some of his other businesses. We don't need to see Connor back in there. Even if Holloway wants it, go fight somebody else, Holloway. You know.
Yeah. Don't bully him. I feel
Yeah.
like the Conor Chandler ship might have sailed as well.
Yeah.
I think that if he does heal up and come back, that makes the most sense still. I don't wanna see him against somebody at the top of the division. I wanna
Right.
see somebody who snuck onto the White House card, who had no business being there, and a talker like McGregor, get after it as both guys who, if you lose, you're out of the UFC. That's the stakes.
If you
If it's
put
not
those
that,
stakes there,
there's a
I'd be
plethora of
willing to
things you
watch
could
that
do.
fight.
Yeah.
I don't want to
Yeah.
watch that fight
And there's a
otherwise. And
plethora of, like, things you could do with Conor. You don't want
I don't want to watch that fight, Chandler McGregor. And I don't think McGregor's going to give him that fight.
why not?
I'd, s- I still do not believe that
The
McGregor is going to give him that fight. I think McGregor is going to fight Holloway before he fights Chandler. I don't think he's going to come back and fight Chandler. I think he's just going to play mind games with Chandler and ruin his career that way.
I think my only issue is if he comes back to fight Holloway, it'll be like minus 1,000 Holloway to like plus 750 Connor, and I can't sneak the books again. I can't come back and sneak the books one more time. That's the only issue I have. But as
Yeah.
a person, if you enjoy watching Connor fight, there are a lot of avenues Connor could take. Connor could fight Nate on a boxing card or
Yeah.
on a MMA card. Netflix wise, he could go fight a Paul
Yeah.
brother. I feel like there's an opportunity there money wise. If he really wants to fight Tyson, he can fight Tyson. There's opportunities for him to not have to worry about the knee as much and go more into like a celebrity fighting kind of
Yeah, no,
stance
that's
at
true.
this point in his career,
That's true.
which there's money there. He still has the gift of gab, as some would
Yeah.
say. So he'll be able to sell a fight easily. I just think if you are a true fan of UFC and you're a true fan of MMA, what he is doing on the back end of his career is doing nothing but hurting what you see him as in that
Hmm.
realm. And I don't think you're ever gonna get that shade of Conor ever again. Which is it is what it is. You
Yeah.
know, he did what he did to make the UFC the sport that it is. Um, he helped build it into the money making machine that it is. It doesn't get to the heights that it did as quickly. I feel like in that window, if he's not there to garner as much attention as he did. So the UFC is always going to be willing to give him an opportunity to prove himself,
Hmm.
just off the back of thank you for what you've done for the corporation, essentially.
Yeah.
But as a fan of competitive MMA fighting in what's supposed to be the best promotion in the world, I think it's over. I think it's wraps. So I think we call it. Um, it's a tough way to see it end, but give Max somebody who's like in Max's world.
Hmm.
Max is still an active fighter, right? And let's stop the nonsense with him staying at 170. I
Yeah.
stand on that.
No.
We don't need to see that
No.
against real 170-pound fighters. We don't need to see that.
No.
Come back down to 155, fight
Yeah.
Gaethje for the belt, right? Fight a Sarukian, fight a Paddy Pimblett. Fight. There's so many big fights at 155 that you could go have. Stay
Hmm.
out of 170.
Yeah.
That's my
He
closing
doesn't need to
thought.
be 170.
No, not at all.
Now, do you
Do
think
you
they would
have any
give
closing thoughts about this card?
not really about this card. Do you think they would give McGregor a retirement fight in Ireland or Boston? One of the two big Irish places.
If he calls for it, if he
Yeah.
calls for it, um, but like, who do we give him?
I mean, at that point, it doesn't really matter.
I really think it's
Um,
Chandler. I really
no,
think
it's
it's
not
Chandler.
Chandler.
And you know what's the sad part? You know what's the sad part? I'm not 100% sure if he beats him.
I don't know if he beats him either.
That's the sad part.
Chandler has the skill to win that
That's
fight,
the
but
sad part.
Chandler is not going to wrestle him, and that's where the skill is to win the fight. For Chandler, he's not going to wrestle him. He's going to go in there and he's going to try to throw punches. And
I agree, but the issue is
I
like
don't know that that
for all the
doesn't
crap I'm
work.
giving Chandler,
Yeah, I don't know that
yeah,
it
that's what I'm
doesn't
saying. For
work.
all the crap I'm giving Chandler, the last person he fought was Mauricio Rufy.
Yeah,
Like they're still offering him up on a platter to some of the savages in that division, right? So you're
but
telling
not
me
Connor.
like I'm not sure if he loses to Conor. And
Yeah,
I
I don't know
and
if he
I
does
am
either.
okay with not seeing it. But if it happens, I'd actually be intrigued to see who won.
Yeah,
Um, but you know, again, closing thoughts, competitive card in
yeah,
general. I have not many gripes. I was very highly confident on how the card would shake out. Um, Pretty much went 12 for 14 on picks. So
nice.
it was a pretty high confidence card. We have an interesting card coming up this weekend. I'm not sure if we'll get to preview it, but we'll see how that goes. Kamaru Usman versus Dricus Duplessis
Yeah,
on Saturday.
I'm very interested in this
Kamaru
fight.
Usman at 185. I am
Very
too.
interested.
What I'm even more interested in is Usman being plus 225 to win this fight.
Are you
That's what
kidding
I'm
me
even
right now?
more interested in. Yeah, I'm not kidding you. I haven't even talked about Usman by decision, which is how I think he wins the fight. Um, so let's just say
Usman with
they might
plus
see me.
money.
They might see me again this weekend to dabble. Let's just say,
Listen, I've never
uh,
seen a way for Dricus to win a fight, but I
yeah,
definitely don't see a way for him to win a fight against Usman. if Chimaev did that to him. I mean,
There
I
is
know
there is
Usman's
one path to victory. There's one path to victory for Dricus du Plessis, and I would say usually that doesn't work,
what's
but
that,
we're talking
tripping
about
on a
Dricus du Plessis.
shoestring?
Um, yeah, throwing one of those heavy mitts and catching Usman. I don't
Bro.
think it's going to happen personally, but I've been wrong in this conversation about du Plessis before.
Yeah,
They don't have
he's the
method to
little
victory up
engine
there
that
yet,
could.
but I am saying it right now before we get off of this episode that Usman to win by decision against Dricus du Plessis is going to be my play of the weekend.
Okay.
And that is how I'm going to close it. If we come back to preview that card, awesome. If we don't, I am going to have my picks on Verdict MMA. Please go follow Amal from Art of MMA on Verdict MMA app for my picks, to see just how I feel about the card in general. There's a couple fun fights on there. There's a Chase Hooper fight where he is a massive favorite again. I don't know if I could play
Against
that game with him anymore.
who's he
Um,
fighting?
Mitchell, it's another grappler, I think. So I think that's why they're giving him credit. Mitch Ramirez. Um,
Hmm.
Jared Cannonier is on here against Christian Leroy Duncan. There's
Yeah,
some
that's gonna
fights
be a
to,
good
to
one.
to watch on here.
Yeah.
Tabitha Ricci versus Fatima
Yep.
Klein.
Hmm.
I'm very interested in the Tommy McMillan Alberto Montez fight, where Tommy McMillan is favored. I will be on the Albert Montez side. But I digress.
Need to look.
Right?
I need to look
We're not doing
that
a
up.
preview right now.
Yeah,
We will come back and
because
either
I think
preview
I
this
got
card
something.
or review this next card.
Yeah,
I got
I think I
something for that
might
Montez
disagree
fight
with
too.
you
But
on that
again,
card, but I gotta look at it again because
we'll
sometimes the names and the faces are, will trick me on that.
Montez is Mr.
Uh,
I can't remember the type of choke he's famous for, but Montez is a submission specialist with
yeah,
decent hands, I'd say. And Tommy McMillan is that guy who just likes to brawl
yeah, 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 yeah,
out of
yeah.
Sean
Yep,
O'Malley's camp. So
yep, yep,
we'll
yep.
talk about it. We appreciate y'all. This has been a long one, but it was one of the best cards of the year so
It
far,
was a
I
good
would
one.
say, from a competitive standpoint. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys enjoyed the review, the preview, all the
Yes.
content we've been coming out with lately. Any closing thoughts, Roger?
Some good fights coming up. They got some really good fights coming up,
Yeah.
and I just enjoyed watching them, enjoyed talking about it. Let's keep it going.
Yep. Let's keep it going. We'll get some of this technical difficulty stuff figured out, I'm sure.
Yeah,
But outside of that, we'll keep giving you content. Gonna keep saying it until I get it caught up. Got to get the podcast caught up on Spotify. We've been averaging listens on there, but they're only listening to old stuff. So I need to get some new stuff on there.
got to get new stuff.
But until next time, got to get the new stuff on there. We'll catch you on the next episode. Please like, subscribe, and share. Peace.
Later.